Action!
Region Review.
The Raging Cajuns will be a source of pride for this university, for the alumni, fans, and donors as we achieve success in the classroom, in the competitive arena, and in the community.
It's about to get really fun.
We're looking for dudes that will stand up. Well, Coach, let me tell you today, I'm here and I'm ready to stand up. And I challenge you, Raging Cajun Nation, to stand up with us. Stand up with us. Let's lock hand in hand and let's walk through the gates of Omaha.
Hey, I love y'all boys. Let's grind every day starting today. Let's do it. Y'all ready? Alert! Alert! Ready? Who's that team ready? Who's that team ready? That's up.
I got one thing to say right here. Cajuns win!
Cat snakes, chickens, ducks, elderly people, and twerkers. We're back. Rage and Review podcast. The good stuff. I mean, it is. Look at Gerry. Jerry's like, what happened on the back end of this? Welcome back to the Rage and Review podcast. Hey, we're going to do a little bit of review and a little bit of forward thinking, okay? So stay with us. Please don't dump. Move, go. Guys, welcome back. It's been a fun 48 hours, 72 hours. Everybody watched the game last night. Yes, I see the head shaking. It's been fun. We're going to start with LSU and Florida State. I mean, look, Florida State is a P5 opponent, and they are a like opponent out of conference. So we're going to talk about that, obviously. This is going to be fun. Florida State has been down for a while. Mike Norvell is – I don't even know how to talk about him. I mean, good coach, bad coach. He's been up and down. Gerry, what are your thoughts on Mike Norvell as a coach and his showing out on national TV?
Well, he had success at Memphis, and I know coming in, or really when he got hired a few years ago, that he was the guy to turn it around there. But I mean, I think his seat was starting to get hot this year, and coming into this season, I mean, even as Cajun fans, we were talking about how that's a very winnable game in Tallahassee, and how, you know, that could be kind of like the replacement for Missouri in 2020. Remember, before COVID struck?
I think that we think that because they lost to Jacksonville State at home last
year. A year ago. Yeah, just a year ago they lost to Jacksonville State.
Same team. Now, look, I will say this. Travis was impressive, but everything else was defensive line was okay.
Their offensive line was good, actually. I thought the run game, the way they would run stretch, they did pretty well in the run game. I thought that their receiving core was pretty solid.
With you, but I think that they took advantage of the over-aggressiveness of defensive line and the linebackers of Louisiana State. Go.
Yeah, I also think that their defensive line, that number 5, I forgot his name, but he was a stud last night. He was all over LSU's offensive line. But I think overall, Florida State surprised me a little bit, not because of the way they played, but I thought Mike Norvell actually outcoached LSU. I mean, there's no question they outcoached LSU last night. And so my mind well, no, I think they outcoached them. I mean, I really do. I think they outcoached them. I mean, look, Mike Norvell can't handle the fact that a player fumbles a toss with a minute left.
Well,
at the 1 yard line.
I would say that I agree that they out-schemed to a certain degree, but how many people are going to agree with a toss to the running back at the 1 yard line? I mean, you got to be kidding. That is one of the worst all-time calls of all. Like, dude, that's a big game, national television. You can't just turn around and give the goddamn ball to running back, put him in the. That's terrible. That's one of the worst calls I've ever seen. And I like Norvell. I like him.
I get that, but I mean, if you look at the Les Miles offense, where they would kind of run that same type where they would just toss it to the outside and it worked for them. I mean, that's a fundamental mistake. I mean, look, could you blame that on coaching at practice? Absolutely. But I think for the most part, I'll give you that, Josh. They did out-scheme them, but I'll tell you, my mind's changed a lot about Florida State. They've got some good skill players. Like you said, Travis was really good at quarterback. They had some decent receiving core that played well.
Yeah, I was impressed with their Their skill guy, I was impressed.
I don't want to play him right now. I think I would love for our team to develop and improve by the time we play him on November 19th. But all I will say is this, okay? The state of Louisiana better hope. They better hope. That fan base to the east better hope and pray that we don't pull off the win on November 19th. They think our fans are insufferable now.
Oh God, it's gonna be disgusting.
Oh my gosh. Oh man. Yeah. But anyways.
Nick, the entire world is gonna see the wrath of Rage and Review. It's gonna be up.
Yeah, we kind of already unleashed some of that wrath. We gave a preview of that last night. But I agree with what you guys said. Look, if you would have taken that game, in my opinion, if you take that game and put it in a 20,000 seat stadium with 8,000 people in attendance, everybody's looking around going, "Well, those two teams are crap." Look at all these bad mistakes they're making, and he just fumbled at the one. And why didn't they, just run the clock down and kick it, just go up by 2 scores, whatever. So yeah, if the atmosphere wasn't there from being in the Superdome and having 80,000 fans there, then I think we would all look at it going, "Whoa, I think we might have a shot later in the season." But because of the camera work and ESPN, they're so good at what they do, and the atmosphere and the crowd was into it. Man, I was on pins and needles, especially on that last drive. And the thing is, LSU, I don't know how they do it. I don't know where they get it from, but no matter who's the coach, every game that they seem out of it, on the very last drive, they're going to do something like when they threw the stupid shoe years ago, like something always happens where they come back and they win the game and you're like, what just happened?
It feels fixed. It feels fixed.
Yeah. And it's like karma finally turned around and said, okay, guess what? Nah, not this time. And he misses the extra point. So I feel bad for that kid. I mean, I feel bad for the kid that dropped 2 punts, but it's look, both teams are going to improve as the season goes on. I'll say it later tonight as well. There's so much improvement between game 1 and game 2 in college football. We're going to see that next week with both of those teams as well as with us. And by the time the season comes around to where we're playing Florida State, we're both probably going to look a lot different than we do today. So I didn't really focus on anything that I think whether or not we can beat them later in the season. I think we'll just both look so different by the time we get to it.
I totally agree. But if you're just looking on the field for what you saw this weekend with our team and what you saw on Sunday for their team, I mean, let's be honest. There's a lot of skill positions that make you kind of take a step back and like, oh shit, they're scary. So I will tell you this. Florida State's defensive line was a lot more impressive than I expected them to be. So, and we have defensive line and offensive line question marks, right? So there's a lot of stuff that has to be figured out from this time until then. It's 2 months, 2.5 months. So go ahead, G.
And don't forget, this is the first game of the season. I mean, look, 2016, Texas plays Notre Dame, right? They win in overtime, and the guy, who was it, said Texas is back, folks. They end up going, 5-7 that year. Stuff. But what I'm saying is, don't get me wrong. Like, Florida State looked pretty solid last night, but this is a long season of football. A lot could happen. So they went to overtime with Notre Dame last year and lost to Jacksonville State in week 2. So, I mean, so much can happen, but I wouldn't want to play the Florida State team that showed up last night. That's all I'm saying. I think, we have time to improve. And I tell you, this is a very fortunate thing for us that we get to play them later in the year to where, cause you know how our teams are. I mean, we've been like this since at least 2018, 2019. First game of the season, we look completely different than maybe the 10th or 11th game of the season because we get better as the season goes on. I hope that trend and pattern follows this year, because if it does and we do get better, I think by the time November 19th rolls around and we go to Tallahassee, we're going to be a completely different team in a good way. So yeah, I don't, like I said, we have a habit of getting better as the season goes on and improving, but no, I mean, Florida State, they looked a lot better than I'm going to give them a lot more credit than I gave them before the game. I think they're a good football team.
Look, I'm just going to say this one other thing.
Go ahead, Nick.
What I think is really funny is that you have the tale of one single play at the end of the game turned the tide from LSU loving Brian Kelly to LSU turning on Brian Kelly, and the same at Florida State, because today in the Tallahassee Democrat, the headline is Florida State football in position to have the best season in several years after LSU win. They only won the game because a guy missed the kick at the very end. That's it. And which was a stupid play call. Brian Kelly, look, Florida State was gassed on defense.
Yes.
You could have walked in the end zone. Why didn't they go for 2? They should have gone for 2 and won the game and ended it right there, but they didn't. And this is the kind of thing that happens. But it's just so funny that Florida State has taken this 1-point win off of LSU as season-changing, season-defining, best team in years. Come on, man.
I think that the strategy was we're essentially at home, right? I know it's a neutral field, but it's in the dome. So I think that, you go for the tie at home, you go for the win on the road. He probably bought into that. But guys, can we talk about Kayshon Boutte and all these other players just totally wiping their freaking social media following from the LSU social media pages because they were getting death threats? Holy crap. And I know that we're used to LSU fans doing that kind of stuff because that's who they are, but this was a little bit different. I feel like the coaching staff really let them down. There was several moments in that game where you're like, really? That's what you're going to go with? All right. And listen, everybody hates Brian Kelly. Somebody sent a message privately that said, of course, LSU hired Brian Kelly, the most hated coach in America, hired by the most hated fan base in America. It's perfect. It's perfect. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but I mean, it was the primetime game last night, and Florida State is an opponent of ours on the schedule. So let's kind of break it down just a little bit. I thought Travis was fantastic. I thought their offensive line was better than advertised. I actually thought that their linebackers and their defensive line was faster, more athletic than advertised. I also thought that their secondary was bad. Their secondary got torched for a while. I'll also say that Kyron Lacey, former Cajun player, had a catch in maybe 2 snaps. Nothing to say. Mekhi Gardner got absolutely murked on the little gadget play to the quarterback, I'm not going to crush him. However, I thought he played very well after that. And Mekhi Gardner's a good player. So I'm not going to crush Mekhi Gardner. I thought it was a good player. I thought it was a fantastic sign when Billy got him. And he showed that LSU kind of needs him. Hashtag DBU, right? But he also got fucking torched. He got torched a couple times. Just saying. What did you guys see out of Mekhi and Kyron?
Well, I made a joke to one of my friends because I said, well, Kyron Lacey ain't got a bunch of catches. He's going to enter the transfer portal right after this game, because they're not targeting him on every play. So, no, I agree. There is a lot of talent at wide receiver at LSU. So it's the nature of the beast. You're not going to be targeting.
Big. They're huge.
Yeah, they're right. Exactly. So, so he's not going to be the star wide receiver that they're yet. He might turn into it, but right now he's not their guy. But I agree. I do think Gardner, like you said, is a really good player. Obviously, LSU wouldn't have targeted him if he wasn't. So he did have some really key plays, especially later in the game. There was one play where the guy was wide open and he just leapt up about 18 feet in the air and knocked the pass down. So
the end zone play.
Yeah. So he
was
ended
sick.
Yeah.
No, it really was. And look, I love Mekhi. I think he's a great player. I'm sick to my stomach that he left.
Yeah.
But F him.
He left. Look, no disrespect to Mekhi. I'm glad.
it is what it is.
I'm glad
Gerry?
he did what he did for the Cajuns, but he chose to leave. At this point, I had the chance to say hello. JMU had a Twitter space earlier, and I went on behalf of yours truly, Rage and Review, and they asked me about what I thought about the game last night, and I said, look, the first flea flicker touchdown that Florida State scored was on our former cornerback that started for us, and they were like, man, y'all must have thought that was pretty ironic. I'm like, yeah, kind of. He chose to leave. Look, the mindset is simple. With everything going on in the transfer portal, and I think Coach Dez has alluded to it before.
Yes.
You don't want to be here? Don't play. Go somewhere else.
See, you wouldn't want to be here.
Yeah, if you want to be part of the culture, if you want to play for the Cajuns and sport the vermilion and white, we welcome you with open arms, and we expect you to play at the tenacity and at the standard that we want you to play. But if you go in the portal and you leave and you go somewhere else, well, I mean, that's your choice. You made that choice. So I mean, when Makai got scored on that first touchdown, I was kind of like, well, I mean, you chose to go there. I'm sorry. Like I'm glad he did what he did for the Cajuns, but he's no longer a Cajun. So
let's all be honest. When he got torched on the gadget play, we all thought, you torched.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Let's be honest. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
We're fans.
Sure.
Give the guy credit, like we all have.
He's a good player.
Had a good game. He's a good player. But yeah, it felt good.
Absolutely torched. Lacey catches a 3-yard out, gets smoked. He stands up, gives a couple of claps, and he goes out. Brian Kelly pulls him out. Get out. Get your goddamn ass out of here. This is ridiculous, dude. Listen, that was some of the most incredibly bad football that we've seen in a long time on national television. Look, I want to spend a couple minutes on this. Florida State should have won the game outright. If you guys remember, right before the half, they got hosed, got the little fumble. All right. They wasted the muff punt by Malik Neighbors. And listen, I am probably in the minority. Malik Neighbors should probably move to Alaska. No lie. I mean, have you guys seen the tweets and the social media interaction? Oh my God. So bad. He's a great player. Did you guys watch him play last year? I'm not an LSU fan. I hate LSU. Malik Neighbors is a great football player. Very, very good. Fast. I mean, he's elusive. He's a 5, maybe 7 tool player. Good player. He got smoked last night. Made a couple of really bad mistakes, and then he went onto the bench, and he's crying. And they had a couple of coaches that passed by him, and I don't know if he doesn't know who they are or whatever, but it was very awkward. They didn't want to talk to him. And as soon as the game is over, they go to Brian Williams and they say, hey, what do you think of Malik Neighbors? Well, you know, he's a good player. We evaluated this, that, and the other, and we were wrong. Keyshawn Butte quit the team? Oof. Tough stuff, man. Gerry, what did you see, man? I mean, it was tough.
I saw a team that has been 11-12 in the last 2 seasons. Well, now they're 11-13, dating back to their championship game. I see a team that really doesn't have much of an identity right now. I see a team that is short of scholarship players. I see a team that basically is just trying to find an identity and get better, and not only get better, but just try to set a standard. And I think that's what Brian Kelly's doing. I mean, look, he's got his work cut out for him, and the school paid him a lot of money to do that. But I'll say this: they're a ways away. They're a little ways away from getting back to a certain level that their fans expect them to get. And it's not because they're a bad football team. They just don't have that identity in the locker room. I mean, Billy had to deal with that in 2018 with us, right? You go 7-7 the first year, you try to find the identity. And luckily the process was expedited the following year when we won 11 games. But, you know, to our credit, look at where they play. Look at their schedule. Tennessee, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Arkansas, Texas A&M, Alabama, Auburn. You're good luck winning 8 games with that schedule the way they played last night, which
real football.
Look, yeah. I'm not this is a Cajuns podcast, but at the same time, you have some guys on that team that came from here to help them. You know, I mean, they're a local team as well. And, you know, of course we have to hear it all, but they got a ways to go. They really have a ways to go. In the meantime, I hope that we can capitalize off of that, continue to win, continue to build our culture and identity, continue to show success. And, you know, hey, who knows? Maybe we can, not to say we'll take over the market, but we can capitalize on that a little bit, even with recruits, because at this point, you know, I always say LSU can only have so many players on a roster. That I mean, what, 100 or so players? But at this point, I mean, this is our golden opportunity to at least take a little bit of that market, a little bit, with the success we've had. So, you know,
when Montreal Johnson went nuts, and I don't know if it's allowable to talk about Billy Napier and the Florida Gators beating Utah. I was tough, man. And look, I know I had probably been the most critical on Billy's move and the way he did it, and probably was a little bit rough and aggressive on that. But here's the thing. You can't tell people in this area that we're going to do this, that, or the other and just walk out. So I still don't forgive you, Buh. Still don't forgive you, buddy. However, it's hard for me not to look on ESPN, see the highlights, see college football, and see you at the top of ESPN and not be proud of you. So I'm proud of you, Billy. You son of a B word. I'm going to punch you in your nuts, you bastard. You beat Utah. Just beat the Corn Dogs. Just beat the Corn Dogs and we'll be fine. And we'll see you next year, and that's fine. Go ahead, Nick.
It's like a breakup with your ex-girlfriend. Like after a while, there's a lot of sketchy stuff that went on, but after a while, you're just like, yeah, Nick, not there yet. I'm not there yet. But
if she ends up with a better looking guy than you, we're fighting. But if it's mostly comparable, yeah, we're all right. We're fine. I had a bad day.
Yeah, I mean, look,
makes my hair better.
I'm happy for Billy. First game of the season, you play the number 7 team in the country and you win. In that way, in that fashion, look, I tip my hat off to him. It was kind of weird a few times. Like I'd watch some of the highlights later in the night after we had recorded, and it was so funny watching the certain formations, of their offense. And Richardson, how our quarterbacks always do this, and we do the thing with the hand. And it's basically the Cajuns wearing orange and blue. Like that's exactly what their offense.
We got our whole freaking staff.
Have the entire staff.
Right.
It's like watching Cajun football, except Anthony Richardson was ridiculous.
Yeah, he's
so good, man. I mean, that's a talent that you cannot replicate here. Can't, because that guy at 215, I don't know, 6'4", 215. Arm length of 7 feet. You're not getting that here. And it was very interesting to watch him put into place a very effective offense. That was different. It was different.
I think in all of this, what I like, the common denominator, I think we can all agree on this. And our boy James made a comment, and it's true. We don't remember in Baton Rouge last year, right? We don't want the ooh la la coach. We can't get the coach from Lafayette. Can't do it. So what if he's $20 million cheaper? So what if he has a track record of success?
Nick, you got that clip ready to go?
We don't want the ULL coach.
You can't get the ooh la la coach. You son of a beast thing. I hate those.
We can't get the ooh la la coach. Well, I think now some of their fans are going, maybe we should have gotten the ooh la la coach. Maybe we should have gotten the guy from Lafayette.
Yeah, that meltdown. I'm gonna see if I can do that. Hold on.
Lafayette. Speaking of English,
yes. Yep.
Yeah, it's not working. I can't get it to work on here. Sorry.
It'll work. Jerry, last night, how many times did you laugh? Twitter was insanity. And the people that really love LSU but don't really love LSU, they couldn't wait to start slinging arrows, dude. It was improbable and fantastic.
What's funny is there was a Twitter space, an LSU Twitter space, and they
it
even made
was
a comment
great.
of all the Cajun fans.
This mother
that were
effer,
there
this
listening.
son of a beast thing,
But
blah,
it
blah,
was
blah.
It was hilarious because, like, I know we had a small fallout with some of the Florida fans last year after everything the way it went down. But do you notice how we've all united?
Well, it was like 1,000 people. I don't know how small it was. It was 1,000.
But I mean, look, let bygones be bygones. They got their coach. We're still continuing the success. Everybody's happy, right? But it was pretty funny how everybody kind of united under one front with the demise of what happened last night in New Orleans. So I enjoyed it. I thought it was. I mean, the content on Twitter was fantastic. It was so great.
One of the most fun afternoons, evenings that I've ever had on social media in my entire life. It was fantastic. It set the stage for what could happen November the 19th. What happens if the Cajuns invade Tallahassee and we win?
Oh my gosh.
I'll tell you what'll happen. It'll be
Does Brian Kelly get fired on the spot?
No, it'll be pages and pages of their ULL, their USL. That's all we're gonna hear because that's what we're concerned about. So that's all we'll see if we happen to win.
You know the irony behind that is they brand themselves LSU just like we brand ourselves Louisiana. We do the same exact thing as they do, but somehow we're breaking rules. Don't you love how that happens? Like, I just love the double standard on all of that. But look, it is what it is. I don't worry about that. We've won the name battle. I've said that many times. I don't care what they think. Oh, well.
Have we though, Gerry? Have we persuaded most of this area to call us Louisiana? Because it's important.
Well, Glenn Gilbo seems to agree. I mean, and ESPN
Glenn Gilbo
seems to
loves
agree.
the podcast and Nick Domingue.
CBS Sports
Things have changed for the better, man.
CBS Sports seems to agree. Sports Illustrated seems to agree. I mean,
Glenn Gilbo is now my newest Twitter follower. So hey, I'll take it, baby.
Nick, if you can post the Twitter thing that you posted last night, I don't think that I slept because of what you posted. I laughed so hard and I cried and had a beer and poured it on my ear. It was fantastic. I laughed so hard. It was awesome.
Yeah. Well,
If Nick can pull up that tweet and we can put it live, fan-effing-tastic.
Hold on. Let's see if this works. Are you boys ready?
Try it. If it doesn't work, who cares? We'll kill the broadcast.
I mean, yeah, we'll kill it.
Look at this. This could be great.
Share. Screen. Let's see. What are we sharing here?
I was deceased after he sent it to me.
All right. I don't know if this is going to work or not. Do you see it?
oh yes,
I do.
Oh, here we go.
You want Napier? Nate, Bill.
Hold on. We got to get some audio going here.
He can't come.
No, you're good.
Speak to the English. I'm not pushing Napier.
You don't.
Henny,
your problem is you don't listen.
I know what your
Your problem is you don't listen.
No, you're what
you say 12 times a show. Charlie, I gotta ask you a question, and you don't answer. You don't listen to my answer.
I'm gonna put your drawers in the crack of your ass.
Listen.
You said you'd be okay with it.
Yes.
Okay. You want Napier?
Man, I'm telling you, we got to have a moment like that. I feel like it's coming at some point.
Speak to the English. I'm not pushing Napier.
You can't come from Lafayette to Baton Rouge. These sons of bitches really believe that shit, man. They really believe that they're so high and mighty. They really believe that they're at the top of the college football pantheon.
Questioning you don't answer. You don't listen to my answer.
I'm gonna put your
I mean,
drawers in the
I
crack
had
of your
nothing to
ass.
add
You
to
don't
that.
listen to my answer.
That's it. That's
You
it.
said you'd be okay with it.
Yes.
Okay. You want Napier? Nate, Bill, I love you. Henny, he can't come from Lafayette to Baton.
Josh still laughing. Josh left. Josh gone.
My stick. That's how these people think. And Florida just beat the number 7 team in the country. That's how insane these morons are. He can't come from Lafayette to Baton Rouge. Bitch, it takes me 16 hours to get across the goddamn basin. You're right. He can't come across the bridge.
Yes.
Holy shit.
You want Nate?
All right, bro.
Bill, I love you. Henny, he can't come from Lafayette to Baton.
That was your Hannah Griff moment.
Pushing Napier.
Look at Gerry. He can't come from Lafayette.
You don't listen.
I know what your problem is.
Jerry's just waiting for the text.
You say 12 times a show. Charlie, I gotta ask you a question, and you don't answer. You don't listen to my answer.
I'm gonna put your drawers in the crack of your ass.
Listen.
I'm going to put your drawers in the crack of your ass.
Yes.
Okay. You want Napier?
Oh, Josh.
Nate, Bill, I love you. Henny, he can't come from Lafayette to Baton Rouge.
All right, man.
how many times are we gonna play this? Oh gosh,
Gerry, do you remember everything that was going on at the time? They tried to tell us, oh, he would never, ever go to Gainesville over Baton Rouge. He will walk across the Atchafalaya Basin to be the coach of, and we kept trying to tell him, dog, he's going to Gainesville. He don't care about Baton Rouge. You people are a freaking, like, literally, you people are a disgrace. It's bad. And he went to Florida. And they were like, oh, well, we got Brian Kelly. It's fine. It's fine. Now, Brian Kelly has lost to a team that lost to Jacksonville State at home last year.
oof.
And Florida just beat the number 7 team in the country.
Well, they didn't want the ooh la la coach, man. Okay,
And they want the ooh la la coach.
We need to know our place. We're little brother, and whatever other insults thrown at us that we've heard countless times. What are some other material
Fredo
Ooh-la-la,
effed up.
ULL.
Fredo
Yeah.
effed up.
Yeah, that's right.
And then you had your boy on their LSU podcast or whatever he does now because he was fired from whatever station going. Hey, word is Napier. Napier's begging to come to LSU. I mean, he's begging. Hey, they calling us every day. He wants to be here. And like 2 hours later, they're announcing he's going to Gainesville. And they're like, well, we didn't want him anyway.
And they didn't give any credit to us. And all we were saying was, Napier's not going to Baton Rouge. He's using you people as leverage. We kept saying it every week. Rage Review doesn't know shit. Rage Review they don't know anything. Next thing you know, Strickland is introducing the dude, and he's doing a video in the locker room. All right, I'm getting on the plane. I'm going to Gainesville. Tough. Anyway, Eastern Michigan, Nick. How do we feel about Eastern Michigan? Is it going to be a peer type game? Is it going to be something that we can feel like our team is a neutral component competitor, or should we win?
Well, I think on paper we should win. I think the expectation is that we win. But they have a history of upsetting teams. They also have a history of beating the spread, which is why I've been betting EMU for a long time. So this is a tough one for me. Yeah. So they finished, I think, fifth in their West Division last year. They were picked fifth out of sixth in the West Division again this year. They beat Eastern Kentucky last weekend, 42-34. So they were kind of in the same position. They felt like they should have blown them out the water, and they didn't. They gave up 492 yards of total offense. So they got some work to do on the defensive side.
So they competed offensively, but couldn't really keep up defensively?
No, you were correct. Yeah, exactly. They gave up 351 yards just in the air. So their defensive backs are going to have to play much better next week against us, I think, because I do expect improvement in our passing game in game 2. Just to kind of build on that, EKU had 21 passing first downs on Eastern Michigan, which is a lot. So and one last kind of caveat on that, the Eastern Kentucky head coach suffered a cardiac arrest the Sunday before, so they were actually playing with an interim head coach this week.
Whoa.
Yeah. But he's okay. He's making a recovery. But yeah, that was sudden Sunday before the game. So they had a guy step up, one of the assistant coaches coaching them this week. Taylor Powell is a senior transfer from Troy, so we get another former Sunbelt quarterback.
Yeah, I remember that son of a B word. I remember his name.
Yeah, I remember him well. He had a pretty good game. He went 21 for 30, 271 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. He didn't show that he's a mobile quarterback, but he did score a 7-yard touchdown run later in the ball game. But he's definitely a pocket passer from what we saw during yesterday's game. They want him in the pocket. He was able to make things happen all game. He got the ball out quickly when the pocket collapsed. The receivers also did a really good job of making some difficult catches. And what I liked about their receivers is they knew exactly where the first down marker was. So there weren't deep passes. I don't think he's going to beat us with his arm downfield, but he knew where to place the ball, and the receivers were always there waiting to catch it. They dropped a few, so it could have been a little bit worse, but I think they're going to be a challenge because they know how to really get to the first down marker each time. The thing I do like about them as well is that they had 3 tight ends make catches on Friday. So like we're trying to develop catching tight ends, they did the same. They had 83 yards of offense from their tight ends. Andreas Paskey is 6'7", 253, and he had a 35-yard reception. So
ridiculous.
He's going to be a beast. We're going to have to account for him throughout the game. And one thing that they did do a good job of is they struggled a little bit offensively with their offensive line in the first half of the game, but they started coming out in 2 tight end sets, and that gave the quarterback a little bit of time in the pocket. So made some pretty good adjustments. Defensively, they had a bend don't break game plan, kind of like we did later in the game. So a lot of soft coverage in the secondary and not much push on the defensive line. So and then their running back Darius Boone has some speed, especially in open space. They really didn't try to run the ball up the middle a whole lot, but they really run sideline to sideline, and he picked up quite a few yards. So he's speedy. We're gonna have to mind our P's and Q's and make sure that we're covering all of our assignments throughout the game. But again, on paper and based on history, you would think that we have a little bit of edge on Eastern Michigan. But as I said, they have a tendency to upstage the competition in the P5 the last couple of years. They've made a bowl game the last couple of years. I invited some of their fans on to watch this stream, and one of the things that I thought was great was that they said, we want to be where you guys are. We're middle of the pack G5. We want to be in the upper echelon, and we kind of want to mirror your success. And that just got me to thinking how much of a compliment that is, and maybe how we take it for granted a little bit, because just a few years ago, we wanted to be the Boise State. That's what we wanted our program to be. We wanted to be Boise State. And I think every G5 program modeled themselves out off of Boise State. And now hearing from, MAC teams saying, well, we want to be the next Louisiana is exciting and something that we should appreciate and welcome. So again, they're going to be looking to make a statement, and they want to move up the chain in the G5, and they want to make a statement next weekend. So we're going to have to play better than we did last weekend. And again, both teams, I think, are going to make an improvement from week 1 to week 2. And we were very bland on offense and defense. I don't think we showed too much on, not to get anything on tape last week.
We were base.
Yeah. So hopefully we bring it next week and look forward to the challenge. They're going to be a handful.
Gerry, your thoughts?
Sure. Well, the number one thing that sticks out to me is they did go to a bowl game last year. Even though they did lose to Liberty, they were good enough to go to a bowl game. So anytime you do that, that is an accomplishment. I also think that, they run a decent spread offense. I was able to watch a little bit of their game last Friday night against Eastern Kentucky. And look, you can say what you want about, playing an FCS school or whatever, but they did hang 42 and they look pretty good doing it. I think it's going to be probably a pretty solid challenge for our defense this week. And this is the perfect opportunity. How they all say that you usually improve from week 1 to week 2. This is the perfect opportunity to play a team where I think we have a good shot to improve. They are a decent MAC team. Again, they have been to a bowl. They also have a decent passing game. I believe they went 21 for 30 in the passing game last week. But I also think that's a great challenge for our secondary. Our secondary they're going to get picked on a little bit, which I know they're up for the challenge there. I think what I'd like to see improve this week, we went 6 for 15 on third down conversions. I would like to see our offense convert a little bit better on third down. I also would like to see us open up the playbook a little bit more. I thought we did run kind of a base on both sides of the ball, and in the trenches, offensive line and defensive line. I do think that this is a great week for us to have some improvement there as well. But I really think that this is a great test for us because, like you said, Nick, Eastern Michigan, they used to have a reputation back in the day. They used to be in the bottom 10 every week at the FBS level. They're getting better. They're improving. So the fact that their fans said that about us, how they want to emulate us, means a lot. And so I hope that the Cajuns are ready to go. I hope they play well, because anytime you have a G5 team come to Lafayette that's non-conference, especially someone from the MAC, they're a good barometer to see where our team is. So I'm looking forward to the game, and hopefully the weather's better this week. I would like to see a better crowd, but that's for a totally different conversation. But no, Eastern Michigan is a great non-conference test, and I'm glad they're coming to Lafayette next week. Looking forward to seeing what the Eagles bring to the table against the Cajuns.
All right, G, we have a caller. James, please go ahead with your thoughts, brother.
But first, I want to say, y'all got y'all's hats on backwards. y'all using some foul language.
Poo-poo!
And y'all drinking alcohol. Y'all the devil. Y'all full of the devil.
Y'all full of the devil.
Love it.
What's happening, guys?
Good, man. Thanks for calling, James. Go ahead, brother.
Well, I didn't get to go to the game. I had to drive to Austin to pick up my son, but so I got to glance a little bit as I drove. But I did watch a bit of the LSU Florida State game. I watched most of the Florida game.
Did you watch the South Lafourche game?
No, no. But this is a bit off topic, but I just want to say I do kind of hope that LSU really sucks this year, because I'm really just sick of this program and the community and the people are in this area really not supporting this university. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do. I do know what you mean.
And you know what? If the people in this town and particularly the alumni would just put their hometown university first and start attending games here, and we could make Cajun Field the scariest place to play in the country. We could do that here if people would just stop trying to hitch their wagon to what they perceive as some dominant program. We can do it here.
James, I'm just going to comment on that and say, and no names that I'm throwing out there. Boy, Josh wanted to, but we pulled the reins back. But I watched a local representative of the Acadiana community posting pictures of himself in the Superdome with LSU gear on, Go Tigers, and you scroll through his timeline, and he wasn't at our game, but he's our Acadiana rep. And I get,
what was his name? Come on, let's be honest. What did we? Oh, did we lose everybody?
No, I'm here.
Oh, Gerry's still here. The rep. If Nick lets me say who the rep was, I'm about to burn it down.
Don't do it.
Don't
do it.
Nick,
Don't
what
do
happened,
it.
Nick? Come on, Nick. He's gonna be back in a second, but it's true, man. These people in this area don't give a shit about our games and our promotion and whatnot. They're gonna talk about LSU because they think that's gonna get their I don't know, their level up, their profile up, their celebrity up. I don't know.
Well, it's easy. That's why it's easy. And, it's easy. That's why people do it. Look, I know people that are UL grads. They'll go drive to Baton Rouge to go watch the game. And I'm like, did LSU educate you? Because if I used to make a joke. I used to joke with some of my friends who would do that. I'm like, tell you what, I'm going to give you whiteout. I'm going to give you whiteout so you can white out your diploma and change it to Louisiana State University.
Hang on, G. We're gonna accept the call.
Okay, what you got?
New caller. What you got? Come on now. New caller. 257 caller. Yes, I do have an extended warranty on my vehicle, and I'm not interested in anything else. I will call you tomorrow. Moving back to James. James, take over, brother. Oh, damn. It's been a long day. Gerry Carey, you go. All of our internet has gone, but I can just get rid of all that stuff. But you're right. You were making a great point, Gerry. Please continue. It really is a good point.
Well, it's easy. And it's like, the thing is, look, we are kind of the new kid on the block in football. LSU's
it's true.
Look, LSU's been sold here for over a century. So when that's the only thing that you've been fed for over a century, you're not going to want to try anything different. And I think the difference here is that, we're yes, no, we don't play in the SEC. No, we don't.
Unknown caller.
Continue.
No, we don't play, against Texas A&M and Alabama week in and week out. But we're still a top 25 team, or we have been a top 25 team in the last 2 years. Our program represents the community pretty well. We stay out of trouble. We don't do anything dumb that would otherwise ruin our reputation. Our coach, our head football coach is from New Iberia. Like, I don't know.
He's a raging Cajun.
And
he was a quarterback of the team. How can you not get behind that?
And we all talk about how we love to support local, right? Oh, go to local business, go to local this, go to local that. Your head football coach is from New Iberia, and he played here. How much more local could you get than that? And he wins. He's 2-0 right now. I mean, granted, he's got a long way to go, but he's 2-0. I mean, so I don't know, man. I just think it's just easy. And so hopefully, I hope that, as time goes on, we keep winning, we keep creating a winning tradition, that more people will eventually come to Cajun Field.
All right, and we got a call from a very invested listener.
Hello.
Please go.
All right, y'all better quit talking about Big Brother. The powers that be just screwed up the as soon as they heard it. Y'all there?
Yeah, I'm here. Please continue.
Okay, yeah. Nick got knocked offline as soon as he started talking about Big Brother.
Who?
They out there, they watching y'all. I'm telling you, they got their eyeballs on y'all, and they trying to knock y'all out of the saddle before you.
I know it. I know it, Coach C. I know it.
Unbelievable.
All right, but man, look, I tell y'all right now, the game last night was a great game, but I don't know how good, honestly, either of teams are. Now that quarterback looked like he was the real deal.
Oh, Travis was good. Travis was good.
Yeah,
yep.
was.
Yeah. But they, both of those teams have, Florida State. I can tell you, last year, if you remember what happened with them in Florida, they near about had a gang fight right there on the football field.
Right.
So
right.
The Florida State has the ability. It's about confidence, okay? It's about swagger. Florida State has the ability to lose theirs at any given time. So there's a lot of seasons to be played between now and the time we get a hold of them. And I like what Coach does, the way he gets of that game the other night. A lot of people, I heard a lot of complaints about him running two quarterbacks and how it killed the momentum.
Well, Kyle, we're learning. We're learning right now. We're learning.
Well, yeah, we are, and that's the whole point. I can tell you. Look, the thing is, Coach Dez has two new quarterbacks. He needs to see what they can both do, and he needs to see what they can handle, as well as other players on the team. I'm sure those weren't the only two guys that spelled each other the whole game. So you got a situation where you had to get a lot of players in. You had to get a lot of evaluations from coaches, and that's just part of the process.
Yes.
And when you talk about the process, you know what blows my mind? You listen to these coaches, and they'll talk about something, and yet people that are listening to them don't. Once the game starts, they forget everything the coach has said. In all the preparation that led up to the game, or that led up to the season, or that led up to whatever point where they're at, you got a process. And the process the other night was they went out there against Southeastern. They had a team that they were supposed to manhandle or handle, not maybe manhandle, but handle, and they handled them. 7 points. You gave up 7 points in situations where you had an opportunity to play guys in situations, work on situations, a lot of things that we don't even have a clue what was going through Coach DeFormo's mind about what he was maybe trying to accomplish on both sides of the field. And it wasn't a perfect game. Oh, it wasn't perfect. Everybody wants their team to be perfect. You ain't gonna get perfection in game one of any football season anymore, anywhere. It's just not going to happen.
Any coach, any level.
Exactly. What your the follies and the goofy stuff that you're going to be able to see this Sunday when the NFL kicks it off. Okay, them guys, they did some work, but half of the guys didn't even participate in training camp. Veterans. Camp. And I know that they're good, and I know that they're great players and all, but I can guarantee you, you're going to see some bad miscommunications. You're going to see some bad play calls. You're going to see a lot of bad play, period. But
it's true.
I think that UL did everything that they wanted to do the other night, and I think that they're going to be ready for Eastern Michigan this weekend. And I'll tell you the truth, I really liked what I saw in what Dez did. And I don't think anybody right now at this point can do anything except, hey, the man went out there, and in a way it's kind of sad because, it was boring. Well, sometimes when you're going out there and you're 14-0 and you're going for 15-0, things might be a little boring sometimes because he's trying to work on 20-0 down the line if he can get there. You know what I'm saying? Because you got your conference coming up, and you got to know who can play, who can't play, what should I run here, what shouldn't I run here, what can I expect based upon what this guy's going to show me, can I do later down the line?
And Kyle, listen, I'll tell you right now, I don't necessarily speak for a Rage and Review podcast. These other guys have a different opinion, but my own opinion is win and figure it out while you win. And I really don't give a damn how you win and how you figure it out. But when we have the game against Marshall, I want to see some physicality at the line of scrimmage. If I can get some physicality at the line of scrimmage and I can see some quarterback play, I really don't care.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, you're right. The offensive line has a long way to go to get to where we hope they're going to be as fans. And I bet you,
and we're very, very young. So you got to let these guys fail. They got to fail. Let them fail. Let them get their ass beat at the line of scrimmage by Southeastern and whoever the hell we play. Who's the next game? I don't even know.
Eastern Michigan.
Let Eastern Michigan beat the hell out of these guys. Let them get their ass beat, but let them know that they are talented. We recruited them for a reason, and we're going to beat every other team on the schedule. That's important.
Well, for me, I'm hoping I'm going to see improvement. The biggest thing in between game 1 and game 2 is to see improvement from mistakes that you made.
We lost Kyle. It was a fantastic call. Please, Kyle, call back. Gerry, your thoughts. I mean, really good thoughts from Kyle, but at the same time, it's like, dude, look, it's early in the season, right? We're trying to figure out who is going to be the I don't know, even you got to get guys on the line that you trust and you expect to win. And you expect to win the line of scrimmage. You expect to win the play. Got to keep going. Got to keep going. Got to keep going, right?
Yeah, and also too, Coach Dez alluded to this. College football doesn't have a preseason game. So your first game in many ways is considered a dress rehearsal / preseason, except it counts. So you're going to you're going to make mistakes. You're going to mess up. You're going to have some faux pas on the field. You're going to have miscommunication. You're going to have misassignments, and it's expected. But in this particular game against Southeastern, unlike in 2017, where all they needed was a 2-point conversion to win, I didn't feel like the game was ever in jeopardy or ever in doubt. Even whenever Southeastern scored on that in the third quarter, that one touchdown drive, I still felt like we were on cruise control. Did we have some growing pains? Yeah. Did we have some misassignments and missed tackles and missed blocks? Absolutely. But as what Kyle said, I mean, look, you're trying to improve and try to get better. You're trying to work out, the mishaps early on. So when you do play a Marshall, when you do play Troy down the road, you're a lot more polished than you were Saturday night. And again, we've seen this one too many times over the last couple of years. And you know what it's done? It's given us double-digit win seasons. So take it for what it's worth.
So one thing we didn't, when we started doing the live shows, we didn't think about taking live calls. I
have to work with the sound. It's a work in progress. It is a work in progress. So
listen, when you grow, you have growing pains. You dig?
That's right.
I mean,
that's right.
Nick, tell me why we're wrong. You tell me why, and I'll get these guys on the freaking line.
I'm not saying anything because I mean, I said one thing about a local politician going to an LSU game and my stuff cut off. So The Louisiana State
And now
Police.
my life has totally changed because I made a comment about a politician. The sons of bitches.
So I'm, you know what? You guys are right, and I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut.
All right, we're gonna get Kyle back on because he's very passionate. So here goes Kyle.
This is 257.
Oh, get out of here, Kyle. Son of a bitch.
He sent you the voicemail, man. He's had enough.
Are you kidding me? Oh,
Here's the thing. Listen, Lafayette has been a fickle fan base for a very long time.
Caller.
And here we go. Nick, take the call. Nicholas?
Yo, what's up? Hey,
Oh, shit. Hang on 1 second. Hang on. We're going to put you on. We're going to patch you through. And here we go. Go.
All right. I don't know where we lost each other at.
Me either.
I was on the roll, though.
I know
you
you
were.
were.
You were. Keep it going.
Yeah.
Keep it going.
Well, I was just saying. I mean, I don't know if y'all heard the point. Look, when you're 14, you got 14 in a row, okay? Everybody, I don't care if you're playing Little Sisters of the Poor, everybody you're going to play is going to be coming after you because they're going to want your scalp on their wall.
Hey, Kyle, what about Blu-ray? What about Blu-ray? Because I'm like 17 in a row on Blu-ray.
Say again?
Blu-ray. Do you play Blu-ray?
Yeah. Yeah, I have played. Yeah, what about it?
I will whoop your ass on Blu-ray.
Oh, well, hey, if I got to go sit with you and 6 of your partners, I might not be able to go that way.
Well, things have changed.
I done sat down in one of these games. Okay, I didn't even know what was happening until they all went back in the back room and I caught them splitting the money up.
Well, that's a whole other conversation. That's a whole other.
Oh yeah, never go down to Kaplan and play Blu-ray.
However, the tight ends are very good. How good are the tight ends?
Oh, for UL?
Sick, right?
Oh, bro. Hey, look, I'll tell you right now, when you got your tight ends rolling, that's something that, that's a great development to have happen. Because the easiest way to win in a football game is to attack the middle of the football.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. I've been yelling this shit for 15 mother effing years. Attack the middle of the field. Throw it to the tight end. I don't care if you miss the throw. Just throw it.
You have to, because if you don't attack the middle of the football field, then you don't give team's defense anything to get back on their heels about. All of this stuff about trying to hit the corners. Football is kind of like a chessboard. You got to protect from the middle out, man. That's why I'll bet you right now the Baltimore Ravens are going to be one of the best teams in the NFL coming out of the AFC this year because and they understand the geometry of how to attack and defend the football field. And they go out and get guys. Their best players are going to be playing nose tackle, middle linebacker, and safety. And they're going to have their, and right now, you look at them, they got a quarterback. They're more worried about a quarterback that's a dual threat that can run as much as fast. And they always try to have a great running game with a great offensive line and a great tight end. You got to have that. If you don't have that,
I know.
you're in trouble.
I've been saying it for 10 freaking years.
Yeah. Well, it's the way you're going to win. You don't have to have the most notable team. You just have to be able to win the middle of the football field.
Kyle, give me 5 seconds. I got to pull this real quick. Hang on. North Carolina, how you feeling? Hell yeah.
Well, I said, tell me about the COVID, Doc. He said, well, it's kind of
damn COVID. Hey, listen, we are. Yeah. I love App State. I love the moment they joined the league. I was thrilled. What happened to you guys this past day? still hurts me to my core.
Oh,
Horrible,
Yeah,
horrible luck. It hurt
man,
so
that
bad.
was
It hurt so
that
bad.
was tough. Like we were rooting for y'all so hard, like because
Oh,
I was
we love
telling
you guys.
Yeah, I was telling Josh, it's like if LSU came to Cajun Field, and we lost on like a last second play like that. I would just hibernate for the rest of the year. I would just be like,
I'm at the ill house. I'm at the ill house, and I'm laying in front, and I'm in the fetal position.
Oh, we Cajun Nation was pulling hard for App the other day. Hard.
Oof.
Yeah, I know. And the coach said, read some things afterwards where he likes playing the in-state schools, and they've got enough of them, P5 schools in North Carolina for you can play one a year and do whatever your deal is for a long time. So it worked out for App. They put 40,000 in it, and all these guys on Rage and Page and say in North Carolina, people were buying up all the season tickets. That was a bunch of horse shit.
It was a lie,
and
we knew it was a lie.
Huh?
You can't buy those tickets. Those App guys don't allow it to happen.
No. They know what they're doing, and that kind of, and I've said it before, there's no original idea. Every idea I've ever had, I've stolen from somebody. And I have no idea why we can't have conversations with our peer universities about marketing, about game day experiences, about how they do it, how we do it, what are we missing, what are they missing, all those sorts of things. Because, and I've made my feelings known on Rage and Pagin. I think the game day experience, just like I posted the other day, there's nothing Raging or Cajun inside Cajun Field.
Oh my God. Listen, you're about to set something else off on fire. Look at Jerry's face. It just turned. You're right.
But
you're right. There's nothing Raging or occasion about it.
That's all outside. That is basically all outside, which is great. The tailgating and the bands and the beer at the baseball stadium, seeing your friends, the Cajun walk, all of that is phenomenal. Then you get into the stadium and they screw up the intros again. I've seen other schools, and I don't understand it. I've made a point of this. I wish somebody would say why we aren't using that bell. Because you could start ringing that bell the moment the team walks out of the locker room, to get people excited, to play the hype video, which they screwed up this past weekend. You don't need all the fireworks and everything. You don't need all the fireworks and all of that crap.
Caller.
It was like a minor league soccer game.
Caller, right? may I ask you the first question I would ask you, because obviously we're still here and we it's important to us to get it right. So we always want to know, if you were in the building and that experience to start the game, were you not engaged?
No. I'm like wondering what is the new intro, because I had seen that posting from Sam, whatever his name is, who, by the way, came out of two good programs, West Virginia and Tulane.
Yeah.
And
he's 23 years old, though. He's 23.
Well, you're in the business of creating ideas. You're in the business of creating excitement. You want people to have goosebumps. You want people to know that team's coming down that tunnel. Ring that bell. And honestly, that hype video is it's good, but it's not the best. There are other schools who will run a hype video with.
It's shit. Come on. It's terrible.
Former players.
It's nice. It's nice. It's not good. It's not good. I know Jerry's going to punch me in the face and Nick's going to laugh at me, but it's not good. It's not good. It's fine. It's fine.
Ideas don't cost anything. And when I see that we have all the assets that we need to do something like that, to make it compelling, to make it exciting, to give you goosebumps, to get you riled up and ready, to make it collegiate, which is something, honestly, comparatively to other places I've been, it doesn't feel collegiate in Cajun Field sometimes. I just keep wondering who's making these decisions and why are they being paid to make these decisions? Because they're not doing their job. And
we target the wrong people. We target the wrong people.
Yeah. Look, I'm 68. I don't like the music. I get some of it in general, but you know, if you're going to target 18 to 34-year-olds, it's useless at a football game. The people in the stands are 35, 65 and plus. You know, that's your money people. So you piss your money people off every Saturday because the experience in the stadium is neither raging nor Cajun.
I've been saying this forever. Nick, please, for God's sake, help me out.
Look, I was lucky enough or unlucky enough to be behind the scenes for 20 years with the program. I was doing the music when they still had the matrix board in the south end zone with that little, ticker on top. It's a lack of one. You're talking about the video not being ready. It happens. It seems like the first game every year. I think it's a lack of continuity by the person sitting there. Because what happens is you have somebody in the press box that is giving directions to the video booth, to audio behind you, to the announcer, music, and the continuity there. There's turnover every single year or every couple of years. So that's one problem.
You have one job.
Right.
You had a whole year to get ready.
Right.
Come on.
I get it. But
it's not rocket science.
But we've been talking about this for 20 years and it's still not fixed, and through several administrations. So that's one problem. To me, with the music, as far as the music, look, you can have Lil Wayne pumping through the speakers, but you can also throw in some Keith Frank, and you can throw in some Chris Ardwan, and you can throw in Lil Nate. It can be a mix, and we failed to do that.
You're segueing right into another point I wanted to make, and this may cost some money. I mean, I have no idea. But getting back to it's neither raging nor Cajun, can we have Sweet Cecilia show up and sing the national anthem? Can we have Sonny Landreth show up and play the national anthem? Can we have Keith Frank show up and play something during the game or at the national anthem? There is so much musical talent in this area. That's what makes it unique. And the school, for some reason, fails to capitalize on any of that. And it's just mind-numbing to me, somebody who spent 40 years in their career come up with ideas, that this is what we deal with. And yet, when the whip comes down and they start asking for more money, let me ask you guys this. If you had a more enjoyable experience, and I'm not talking about the football side of it. The football side of it is great. Being at Cajun Field, would you not be willing to pony up more money to see it again?
Gerry, that's your question.
It's hard to ask me that because I'm a fan. I mean, it's hard to.
No, I'm too.
But you've been here for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
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 And I just, there is so much we have to offer. And it makes it feel like we're back in the days of Dr. A because on campus, because
we are in the back.
Right.
We are in the back end of Dr. A because I'm going to try my best to not get too bad, but they don't hire the people that are going to prop up the freaking program because we don't have the quote unquote money. We don't. However, there are a lot of people from the Midwest and the South and people that are very educated. They just don't want to put forth the effort. They don't give.
No.
Gerry, you better save me right now, Gerry, because I'm about to say the real shit.
I'm going to just say this. I'm going to just say it again. It's been going. I mean, it's not this administration. It's been going on for years, and it's through different administrations. It's a problem that needs to be addressed. And they'll address it maybe the second, third, like with the video thing, the second, third, fourth game of the season. But it shouldn't be a surprise. We're doing the same thing every year, essentially. Nothing really changes year to year.
Nothing changes.
So again, you can have a fine line of mixing it up. Look, I did it at the Teague. When I was playing music at the Teague, you heard everything. You heard all kind of music, and nobody can complain because everybody had something that I played that they enjoyed. But as the person playing the music, you no longer have that choice. You're doing what they tell you to do.
I mean,
So
Right.
I think they're having a problem where what the fans want to hear, what the students want to hear, and what the team wants to hear. And there's no collaboration to make it work for all of them. They're just trying to make it work for one.
Right.
Sure.
There's a balance, and we're out of balance right now with some of this.
And sir,
And
I agree. I agree
think
100%. But where
on Facebook, I saw.
Where did we lose it? Where did we lose the balance?
Well, you put somebody like 337 DJ Menace up there in the booth to spin records. That's one reason.
What the hell is that? What the hell is 337 minutes?
Go. He's a DJ. Go on Facebook. All right. You've got, and I think it's just a part of these people who do this for a living at UL are young. They don't know the difference. That's why I said, why don't we go to some of the other schools who seemingly have it figured out and ask them how they do it? What is their secret sauce? What are they doing right? What makes them so, engaging? I mean, and I've been crucified for bringing up apps so much, but it's just because I've been there so long.
It's okay. It's okay. You tell us what you think.
They have a hype video and it changes every week. But at the end of it, they do Sean Connery in that movie, The Rock, opening the door and saying, "Welcome to The Rock," and the place goes apeshit. What do we have? What are we doing? We could use that bell. I don't know. And I'm wondering, and I heard the bell ring the other day at noon when I went over to the stadium to look at where my seat was.
Yeah.
I think
and we put the thing in pictures. It's standing there. Well, whoever donated the money for that should ask for it back.
And it's also terrible. Yeah, I agree. It's terrible. It's fucking terrible.
But
Gerry,
imagine when
Gerry, this is your moment. Go, Gerry.
I think there's a fine line between forcing tradition, manufacturing tradition, and creating an organic tradition of a game day experience. And I
understand.
I alluded to baseball and softball. There's nothing to force at baseball and softball because
caller, just let Gerry go ahead and then we'll respond. So just hang on a second.
I think when you go to a baseball and softball game at UL, you already know going into the stadium that the atmosphere is going to be electric. You already know that you're going to be getting in doing cheers and chants and making noise and just all kind of different experiences that really was never forced. I mean, Nick could tell you he was part of that for a long time. And so I feel like in football, we don't really have an organic tradition. We don't really have an organic experience that allows us to kind of have those natural reactions like you're talking about at App or other stadiums. How we create that, I don't know. I mean, I'll give you an example. Marshall. When we play Marshall, they do, you've got both sides of the stadium. And of course, have you seen the movie We Are Marshall, how to do the We Are Marshall chant? Before every game, both sides of the stadium, one side screams We Are, the other side screams Marshall. Things like that, just little things like that. I mean, we pride ourselves on doing the Raging Cajun chant. Why can't we do something like that? Do the Raging Cajun chant, but not by the band, not the band forcing you to do it, but letting the fans do it naturally. Those are the type of things I think that could create that type of atmosphere, but I don't know if it can be forced. I think the problem with football is that I think sometimes we're forcing traditions rather than letting the fans create it, but then the fans have to step up and create it as well. So it's a catch-22 in many ways. I don't know what the ultimate solution is. I do know there were times like when HUD was here in the early 2000s
Unknown caller.
where we had 29,000. That felt like a great atmosphere, but I think it was more organic. I think now we're trying to force, you can't manufacture tradition, even the bell, we manufacture the bell tradition and I don't ever hear it ring. Like, when does it ever ring? Right. And I know there's fans out there who are listening that think we're being negative. Oh my gosh, you're so negative. Well, it's the truth. So, I don't know. I think in football, the fans need to step up, create tradition, but also I don't think it can be forced either. So that's a tough one, man. That's a very, very tough one.
Here's the deal. I never forced tradition at the Teague.
Unknown caller.
Didn't force tradition at football either because there's not a whole lot there. But what I did was drop little things like the after there's another Louisiana first down. Woo, woo. I did that just by throwing it in a couple times, and it caught on, and we kept doing it. So it's try things out, see if it catches. If it does, let it be, quote, organic. If it doesn't, move on and try something else.
But the difference is the whoop whoop
activity.
That's subtle. That's subtle, right?
Right.
It was subtle. I'm talking like we got to do these big events and the fans have to get involved. And that's great. Look, getting fan participation is great.
They suck.
But it's the subtle things, like, for example, baseball, right? 7th inning stretch. Best 7th inning stretch in all of college baseball. Center field, John Fogerty. Yeah, they played it, but the fans, when the 7th inning rolls around, or the top of the 7th, you get your 3 outs, the fans are waiting.
Unknown caller.
So it's little things, subtle things like that I think could be more manufactured, but it can't be these crazy big events. You know, that's just it's just, I don't know. It just rubs fans the wrong way. You know what I mean?
All right. Go ahead, caller. Go ahead.
What's up? Hey, it's Andy.
Doing good. Thanks, Andy. Thanks for calling, man.
Yeah, man. I figured I'd finally give you guys some attention. Yeah, kind of going off that. I really think with the game day thing, it's going to take some time. You know, like you guys were saying. I mean, we've been excelling in baseball and softball for decades now, and it's relatively new for the football team. This is a new area we haven't been in. And so it's going to take time to, you know, figure out traditions that stick. I mean, for example, when I was in the Pride of Acadiana, I had 4 different pregame shows during the course that I was there. So
yeah, I remember that.
I'm
glad.
I'm just like, what are we doing?
I tell you what, though, I'm glad, like, ever since, I think they started the pregame back in 2013, and they've kept it the way it is, how they march to the fight song instead of having to do like 12 different songs every year. I like the fact that they've stuck with that because it's consistent. Everybody knows it's coming, and it looks good. It's not overly fluffed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, exactly. And I hate it that I say this, but so Dr. Melly, he's not there anymore, but I mean, he came from LSU. He was a grad assistant at LSU, got his doctorate at Arizona State.
He was fantastic.
And he was great. And I mean, one thing I will say, kudos to them, LSU's traditions are good for the most part.
Well, let's really not go down that road. Come on now.
A couple things. So, but yeah, we'll not go there. So I think it's a lot of that, it's going to take time. You know, like the whoop whoop, that definitely caught on. You know, when I think that really started getting big towards my latter half of when I was there from 11 to 15. And it's just, I think we got to get there. I think we got to get the students back involved again. You know, I wasn't part of it, but Greek life, I think, is a huge part. And it's like I said, it's going to take time.
Gerry?
Agreed.
It's going to take time?
Well, I think so. I mean, look, I think, again, it's organic, right? And look, Andy's got a point. We really just started consistently winning. I think our fans are, they're still trying to get used to this level of success. I mean, I am, and I've been a fan for over 30 years.
Hey, by the way, Andy, thank you so much for paying attention. Appreciate you.
Yeah, I think he's got a good point. Look, but I think with baseball, for example, and softball, I think some of those traditions followed the success. I mean, Nick, you were there. They followed the success, and the winning and the success comes with the traditions it comes from the atmosphere first. You got to create an atmosphere.
It comes from the fact that people freaking care.
And they care.
That's what matters.
You got to create the atmosphere first before creating tradition.
I mean, I definitely, and also, I mean, it's going to, I think it'll continue to grow, obviously, if we keep our success. I mean, especially carrying it on to, our kids, stuff like that. I mean, for example, for me, I'll admit it. I grew up 5 miles from LSU. I'm the only person in my family not to go to LSU.
Don't ever say anything about that. Ever, ever, ever.
Dude, look, I was born and raised in New Orleans, okay? It's saturated with purple.
All right, Gerry's kicked off. That's it. It's over.
I mean, I know the feeling.
Occasionally, I'll post my picture from when I was 2 years old and had the Pittsburgh Pirates looking Cajuns cap on. So, Cajuns fan for life, baby.
Yeah, and it's just we'll have to make sure we just ingrain it into our kids that LSU is the devil.
Thank you. So, Nick, where do we stand next week? How are things? Are we going to lose? Are we going to win? What's going on?
Like I said, I think on paper we win, but the game's not played on paper. It's played on the field. We're going to have to play better than we played last week. Our offensive line is going to have some improvement. Our defensive line is going to have some improvement. Again, I think, like you said last week, that has a little bit to do with some missing players, but I expect we get the win, but don't be surprised if it's a close game.
Gerry, are we going to win next week?
I do think we're going to win next week. I think we're going to look well improved, and I think we'll win by double digits. Now, that doesn't mean that Eastern Michigan won't score on us. It doesn't mean that they'll move the ball on us at certain points of the game. I still think we get the home field advantage, and I also think, I know this sounds crazy, but anytime you have a northern team come down here and have to play in this South Louisiana humidity, I hope we take full advantage of that and run with it. So, no, I think the Cajuns can win. I'd probably say 10 to 14 points at a minimum. I really believe that, and I think they will.
Should we have a segment where we start hollering at each other about you're wrong and let's holler?
Don't we already do that? Don't we already do that?
Yeah, probably have.
We do that through text already. Maybe we just need to hold off through here.
Jared, tell me how wrong I am. You son of a B word. You idiot. You bastard. Man, I hope we win tomorrow or next week.
Next weekend, yeah.
It'll be tough. No. I'm gonna be right back. Motherfucker. Hey, where'd you guys go?
Oh, we're still here, man.
We're here, man.
Oh shit! Turn it off.
Are you wrapping it up?
No, hell no. Anyway, Eastern Michigan.
Yes.
Eastern fucking Michigan. Sons of bitches. Gerry, take it away.
What, man, I tell you what.
I think we're ready for man. I tell you what.
Yeah.
I am ready. Gerry,
right.
go. Boom.
Right.
Baby.
Let's do it. Oh boy. Man, I tell you what. You know, the other day we got to witness the opening game of Raging Cajuns football for 2022. In spite of the rain and puddles, it didn't stop those who were in attendance from enjoying watching our team grind its way to 14 straight wins dating back to last season. It's the current longest win streak in the country. And it didn't stop us from observing both the new and old faces wearing the Cajuns uniform. For me, it is always fun to see newcomers make plays which allow us to familiarize ourselves before they become a household name. And I'm sure there will be quite a few this season, like years past. What's most important is that I observe the continuation of, as we call, the culture. The same blue-collar mentality and effort that our team has implemented, which has given us the massive recent success. In 2017, during Mark Hudspeth's last season as head coach, we saw the same Southeastern team come in and go toe-to-toe with the Cajuns to the point where a missed two-point conversion determined the outcome of the game. And even though we were on the winning end, there was a sense of concern and a little sense of apathy that was set with our fan base even after the final game. Of course, we all know that a head coaching change would come later in the season, but let's fast forward to this past Saturday night. Coach Mike Desimo made his home debut as the head coach of the school that he has put his blood, sweat, and tears in both on the field as a player and now as a coach. And the vibe couldn't have felt more different this time. With the 24-7 win, there was not a single time the other night where I felt that the game was in doubt. It was almost to the point where the team was on cruise control. Now, that does not mean that the team needs to improve. We all know, from fans to coaches to players, that improvement is necessary to keep this success going. There is no such thing as perfect in this sport outside of the win-loss record. But this perception of winning tends to alleviate a small amount of stress that we all have had as Cajun fans. Call it CDS, if you will, or as we like to call it, Cajun Disaster Syndrome. We all know that rite of passage that brings us into the Raging Cajun fanhood. It has taught us to never take things for granted because somewhere along the way, CDS can rear its head and give us a package of heartbreak and disappointment. But in spite of that, winning is the cure. And this football program has done just that. And because of that, they deserve your support. So for those listening and those on the fence of whether or not to really support this team, I say, come join in on the fun. Join us at Cajun Field as this team takes the field on Saturdays in the next few months. Join us as we continue this train of success. Join us as the culture continues to grind and personify of what it means to be a Cajun. Because you know what? Cajun Nation, this is your team. This is your ambassador to the college football world. This is your chance to show support to a team that has made this community proud. And you can start this Saturday, September 10th, when they take on Eastern Michigan at 6 p.m. 16,000 last week. Let's make it an attendance of 26,000 this week. Show up, enjoy some tailgating, make Cajun Field the place to be. Man, I tell you what, winning is definitely fun, but it's even more fun when we all can partake in the festivities. 14 straight wins and counting. 20 years ago, could you imagine that this was even possible? Because I didn't. But yet, here we are.
Nicely done, Gerry. Love everything and agree with everything you said.
Thank you. It was from the heart. It was from the heart.
All right, guys. Well, thank you all so much for participating. This has been a fun stream. Josh, Gerry, it's been a pleasure as always.
Yeah.
We'll catch you guys on the flip side. You all have a good night. Peace out.
Later, y'all.